Hello ladies and gentlemen, what's going on? My name is Gunmaster472 and welcome to my final video of my 4-part mini-series on Gunmaster gameplay. Today I am playing on Ziba Tower, which was voted the most popular map on Close Quarters expansion. How's that? If you'd like to check out any of my other videos in the mini-series, feel free to click on the videos on screen now. They're named, of which one is part 1, 2 and 3, and they'll basically catch you up on what the mini-series is about. Going back to that point, Ziba Tower, the most popular, 20, what was it, 23? No, 39%. It got 39%. 23% Operation 925, 15% on your fortress, and 23% scrap metal. That was 348,000 people. I'm very surprised. I didn't think that Ziba Tower would be the most popular. I find that was probably one of the most challenging and where people have probably worse KDs than some of the other maps. But anyway, today I am just going to be talking about some different tips of Gunmaster, and maybe if you guys are struggling and don't really know how to play the game mode well, this will hopefully just be a good guide as to how you can play more effectively. Make sure you stick around to the end of the video because I've got some hilarious footage at the end. The way that I win the game is just absolutely absurd, and not so much how I win, but what happens in the final couple of seconds of the game. It's absolutely hilarious. I haven't seen it happen before, so make sure you stick around for that because it's quite funny. Anyway. The first thing I want to talk about is the tempo of the match and points of congregation in the match. Gunmaster on all 4 maps has different points in the map where people will congregate to, whether that is because the points of the map look cooler, or because they seem to find more people there, or because they find that they have a better hiding spot there. And I'm not sure, but you will find points where people will gravitate towards. I feel like it's really important to be able to identify those points and understand where people are coming from in those points, because those are the points that you really want to attack and you really want to go up to from different angles that they'll most likely not be covering, and try and expose their weakness. Try and expose their weaknesses, which would be they're behind. That's really important to understand how to read the map as well. So my next point would be to really rely on the minimap, because the minimap in Gunmaster is your best friend. People will always have certain spots, as I just said, where they will be, and your minimap will let you know where they are. So it's really important to just have a quick look down to your minimap now and again, just a glance. And I'm not saying just stare at the minimap, but if you are a new player to Gunmaster and you are struggling, I would suggest maybe just taking the time out on the new levels to maybe find like a small spot and just have a look at the minimap and watch what people are doing and where they're going, because it's very helpful to be able to understand the way the spawns work and where people are attacking and from what side, to be able to reach position 1. It's a lot easier, so I would definitely suggest that. My next point would be not to be afraid to sort of draw people in and draw them around a corner. Gunmaster is so diverse in the way that the maps were made that there's so many little spots, little alcoves that you can hide around. And say I've had instances where I've been taking suppressive fire from maybe 2 or 3 different enemies and they're approaching me really quickly. It's not a bad idea just to take a small couple of steps back and run around a corner where you know 9 times out of 10 they are going to follow you, and then do a sort of surprise attack when they follow you around the corner. All of them might follow you, maybe 1 will follow you, but I would 9 times out of 10 assure you that you would get a kill out of that, simply because they just won't be expecting it. And you can use that to your advantage in so many different ways, because there are so many different small spots in the maps that allow you to do that. That's a really interesting point, and I think that it's one of the more not so practiced things. I don't see a lot of people doing it to me, but I surely do it to a lot of people, and it works a hell of a lot for me. So I would definitely suggest this isn't an instance where if you're having 2 or 3 people firing at you, it's better to run behind rather than confront them in the open. Maybe one-on-one, it's not so good an idea, but definitely in a situation like that, I find it really effective, just personally, from my personal experience. My next point would be to not run blindly through the main hallways. As you'll see on Ziba Tower, it's basically shaped like a big horseshoe, so there's 2 big hallways running down the sides, and I don't find much success in these hallways, simply because I find a lot of people guarding them from the back and from the front, and that I'll find I'll get shot a hell of a lot, either at the same time or just front or back, every time I run down a hallway. It's just terrible. So I would suggest trying to make your way around the side passages. There's a lot of different side passages that you can take, and people don't seem to want to. That's a perfect example of me just getting taken down here. People don't really seem to want to run on the outside of the map and then run to the middle of the map, and it's a really, really effective sort of strategy that you can take. So maybe take some of those outside rooms and maybe swerve in between them, and then maybe wait a couple of seconds if you know that people are going to be running in towards an area. Just small alcoves. As I said before, the maps are so diverse that you can just find so many small different spots. Even though the maps are small, there's still tons of spots that you can find, so I would definitely suggest that, and try and stay away from the main hallways. My next tip is to try and push through the first 3 levels as quickly as you can. The reason for that is that the handguns can be especially irritating if you're not a handgun person, and that trying to progress through the handguns when you're fronting onto people who have already progressed to the personal defense weapons, say, or maybe the shotguns, or maybe even further than that, it can be extremely irritating and you can fall behind really quickly. So not only the reason that's a good reason, but because you should try and leave plenty of time for the more challenging weapons, the ones that I find personally extremely challenging, like the M320, which is just the thorn in my side on every Gunmaster gameplay, and the knife, which I think that that's probably the one takes me the 2nd or 3rd most time after the MK3A1. So it's really important to try and push through those ones really quickly, just so you leave yourself plenty of time for the latter levels. My next tip would be to not be disheartened if you're failing on the first couple of levels, if you are struggling on the handguns, as Gunmaster is a game mode that you can get on, that allows you to get on quick streaks incredibly easily due to the extremely random spawn placements. So I found myself lagging behind, and I might be 9th or 10th in a match, and then I'll find myself on a random 10 or 11 streak simply because people have just flooded towards me and I've just been in a perfect spot. And that happens to everyone. It happens quite frequently, so it's important just to keep pushing through if you're feeling like you're lagging behind, because it can turn around in the blink of an eye. My next tip would be to take advantage of the destructive environment. Say Operation 925, the area that is just filled with desks. It's sort of like an office environment. If someone's hiding behind a desk like that, personally I would just hammer that desk with suppressive fire and destroy it. And not only destroying that, you're sending rounds through to your enemy as well. Because the environment is so destructible, all of those desks, most of the inner walls are so thin that they can be punched through with any bullet. So you should really take advantage of that, and it will give you an upper hand in the gameplay. I see some people shooting at me, and I'll hide behind one of those desks, and they'll just stop shooting and wait for me to pop up. And that's not really a great tactic, because you're basically in the prime position just to be able to take someone out there. So you should really try and look at where points are that you can destruct. I mean, not everything is destructible, but there's so much on the map that is. My next point would be to not to try to play very conservatively, because I feel even if you do have a lead, as you see, I'm in the lead here, but only by about maybe, I think I'm even lead maybe. Oh no, I think I am leading, but about 2 levels. And it's so easy, as I said before, to get on a really quick kill streak. And just fly through the levels really quickly. So it's important not to play extremely conservatively and to try and progress with pace even if you are on the last level, because those last two levels can be quite challenging. I know the M320 for me, as you'll see me struggling here, is challenging, and the knife can be a bit of a pain as well. My final tip would be, if you struggle with weapons like the M320 and knife, you try to find points where you have a higher percentage of getting kills rather than just shooting in completely random directions, because more time, like 9 times out of 10, that will almost certainly fail, and I find it fails personally for me. So I would try and suggest maybe just like this stairway that you saw me shooting into here, or just different areas that people seem to be congregating in, as I said before, those sort of hotspots on the map that will give you a better chance. I think I'm just about to knife this guy here. So that's pretty much all my tips, guys. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you enjoyed. I just get a rejected animation here. Halfway through my animation, I don't get the knife. What is that? That's ridiculous. I hope you enjoyed the mini-series, and I hope you'll stick around. I've got a bunch of montages that I've just edited, so I'll just be uploading them onto YouTube randomly. I probably will do some more commentaries. Maybe some Conquest Domination ones. That is something that I wouldn't suggest, to try and hide and wait for an enemy and then just knife them. I don't feel like it works at all. Here we go. Here's my knife. So I get this guy a takedown, a nice takedown, and then I hear right at the end there that I get knifed, and I'm like, no, I'm pretty sure I got the kill. It says that I win, and if you look onto the winner, that is not my name. So what happened, as I discussed in chat with the guy next round, you'll see me have MVP and then MVP2 ribbon here, that he knifed me, a knife swipe, right as I took the guy down, so we were double winners. How is that? Absolutely ridiculous. I haven't seen that before. I thought it was pretty random. I thought it was pretty cool. And he did as well. He was extremely surprised. Double winners. So, again, thank you for watching the mini-series, and I'll hope you stick around for the next videos. Feel free to subscribe and like the video if you liked it, and feel free to leave a comment of a tactic that you find helpful in Gunmaster gameplay. I'd love to hear your thoughts. So thank you again, and I hope you stick around for my next videos, and I'll say see you later.